All right, we're getting everybody in here first before we even go any further. So, waiting for Shelton to come in. Okay, Shelton, I see you up there. Bring them on. Ah, okay, Shelton, you're on. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna add Aziz. Okay, and then I'm going to add Hani. Okay, there we go. So Shelton is on. Shelton, you can hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you, buddy. Hear
Uh,
you. Hear you very
I,
well. I
you
know
can
you're
hear me.
working on.
Uh,
Yeah, I know you're working on getting people in. So
Hani, but I sent him the invite also, and still nothing from Hani. Um, he said before he could see it, but it didn't let him do anything. All right, but I, this whole thing was around him and his journey to FFM, um, and I really wanted him here also. I wanted him in here to go over his journey, where he started and everything. But for some reason, I don't even see him in on here, and I did send him the invite. So I'm not sure. Okay, but yeah, we'll give a little background on us. I see Shauna. Hey, what's up? Um, Again, I'm Rox Ricardo. Everybody calls me Rox. I have a 150 mixed reef, a little bit of everything in there. Been in the hobby for quite a while now. Shelton actually got me into the hobby, and it's a great, great hobby. I love the hobby, love everything about it. It's relaxing at times when things aren't dying. When things aren't dying, it's a
do
great
that.
hobby. When things are dying, it's very, very stressful and it can drive you crazy. But it's like someone told me once. It's a lifestyle. Chris, that's for you. Not you, Chris. Another Chris, OSA. He said it's a lifestyle. You have wife and kids, and you have the tank. And it picks up a major part of your time, and it's just amazing when it's all going well. I literally have this tank in the man cave, and I will lay here all day and just look at the tank, you know. And again, Shelton is the one. I started with freshwater, so I had like Oscars and Pacus and stuff like that. And then Shelton got me into it, where I love the fish, but then it was just like, oh, you know what? They got corals too, and the corals, it just all the colors and everything. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and if you grow them, um, you could sell them, trade them, whatever. They literally grow, and you can make money off of them. Who wouldn't love that? Where you're getting paid to do your hobby, So that alone in itself sells it, you know. What's your like, Shelton? What's your like highlight of the hobby?
Um, my highlight of the hobby is basically this moment here where someone else that was impacted by you being in the hobby can say to you, hey, I love this thing. I enjoy it. It really saddens you when you're having difficulties, but we know it's a part of the process. Just like how we're getting this thing going with, sharing these videos and these streams, and we're having little technical difficulties at the moment getting people in. It's the same thing with reefing. Right, it's a long process. I've been doing this for technically today. I think I was adding it up and I couldn't believe it. It's been like about 24, almost 25 years I've been reefing. I remember when I was really, really young and I went to one of the stores. There was a reef shop on Black Rock Turnpike. And I remember this gentleman there, his name was
Yep.
Bob. And I walked in,
Chris
and
Reed from
not the Bob from
yeah.
Milford, a different Bob. Yeah, and I walked in and I had this. I just came from the islands, and I saw this little hexagon, maybe about 5 gallon tank. It wasn't even five, maybe 3.5 gallon tank in the basement. And I walked all the way to Black Rock Turnpike with this, and I said, "Hey, I want to do a
Wait,
saltwater tank in here."
how far of a
I was
walk did you
all
walk
the
though?
way from my house, man. Yeah, all the way from my house. I'm living like, in the close to downtown, Bridgeport. And I walked all the way to Black Rock Turnpike. And I said, "Hey, uh, I said, I want to
That's a
do a saltwater tank with this. It's a far walk, man, far walk. And in the sun at that." And he said, "What did you say?" And I said, "I want to do a saltwater tank." And he called over another guy. He said, "Tell him what you just said." I said, "I want to do a saltwater tank." And they laughed, man. They literally laughed me down, man. But the thing is, at that time, it was something that was difficult. Now we see pico tanks, we see nano tanks, we see all different types of tanks because technology has advanced so much that we can do things that were virtually impossible, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And so,
behind me.
yeah,
This
like,
used to have this like a fake thing on their backgrounds for their phones or their computers. This is actually alive. This is like everything in there is alive right now. So
exactly.
it definitely came a long way.
Yeah, so for me, seeing people just really happy and excited about the hobby, wanting to get other people involved, just enjoying the ride and seeing that it's more than just making money off of it. Like, yes,
Speaking
it's
of
some
getting
side,
involved, speaking of getting involved,
yeah.
we can't have for some reason Hani is having technical difficulties. But I'm thinking, what do you think? Should we just drag Chris in here? Hopefully, he's wearing pants and have him give us a
Maybe
let's
let's give it a shot. See if he
what do you
can
think?
jump in if he's willing and able.
Huh?
If he's willing and able, sure, let's give it a shot.
All right, let's see. Because I
All
did
right,
the same thing I'm doing with Honey that I'm doing with Chris right now. And if Chris can get in, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Honey. Maybe Honey's a little camera shy. I don't know. Look
all
at
right.
that. See? Chris
Probably
is
a tech
jumping in.
issue.
It's like,
Oh, and he has pants. You have pants. We don't want to know if you have pants on. Let's
yeah,
just let's just.
don't tilt that camera down. We don't know if you got pants on or not. We know
Oh my
you. So
God.
stick with. Oh, wow. Look at that behind you.
Oh man,
All
that's
right.
gorgeous, man. That
Yeah,
is gorgeous.
I got shorts on.
Okay, good enough.
That's
We'll stay on air with the shorts on. So listen, Chris, give us a little background on you.
On
right.
me? Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. The
Jesus.
short
We know you.
Been
story.
doing
The
this
short
for
story.
Only thing we
I've been doing this
know of
for a
you
while, bro.
aquatics. Max Reef.
Well,
And you got a big ass tank behind you. That's beautiful,
yeah,
by the way.
so we're gonna say before Normal Aquatics, before Max Reef, before House of Fins, before Westport Aquarium, and all the other stuff. I've been doing this since I was 12.
Wow.
Okay.
So
Freshwater though,
been
right?
around.
Salt. Fresh, because we know you're kind of up there on the age, so we're gonna go with freshwater.
I know. I'm 50 years old now. So what you call it? So I grew up on a lake. So
Okay.
Okay.
I had catfish, I had sunfish, I had bass, and all that other stuff.
Hey,
Throwing them in 10-gallon
Paul.
tanks. Yeah. So Dad said, get a job because the electric was too much. So I got a job at a pet store.
That sounds like me.
So
I saw that.
yeah, he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, because it does.
So
I mean, that's one of the things, especially right now with the cost of the electric bill right now. That's one of the
Yeah.
downside. It does run your energy bill up, but I mean, honestly, I complain about the electric bill every day, but I blame it on the refrigerator. So
yeah,
my wife has nothing to say, but that's
now
what I blame.
you throw LEDs and DC pumps and all that stuff on it, drops it all down.
True.
That is true.
True. That's
That
true.
is
Yeah,
true.
And that's
a lot
one of the
cheaper
things
now.
that we need to share with other reefers because sometimes we have, hey, Aziz popped in, guys. Welcome,
Hey,
Aziz. Welcome. All right. So
So on a weekly basis, it's going to be the three of us. So it's myself, Shelton, and Aziz. We're this is something what we're trying to get into and get everybody into. We all have different size tanks. We have different stuff in the tanks, and we learn from each other. Like I go over to Normal Aquatics with Chris, and Chris doesn't know the name of all the things in the aquariums, but he is amazing. He knows
Amazing.
his stuff.
No,
I
hey,
get that.
Amazing.
hang on. We gotta clarify. I know the Latin names.
Okay, there you go. Because he had this big book in the store that he showed me. I'm like, I am not looking through that book. You can keep that book. We got the internet now, Chris. That's how I knew he was old.
Oh,
When he told me
oh,
the book is literally like a Bible. And
yeah, that's my Bible.
Where did you get this book anyway?
Yo, I got that book like 35 years ago.
See, didn't I tell you guys? See,
Oh,
now
man.
they believe me. Now you're your age.
I don't do the whole like Frappuccino vape scene corals. I told you that.
Yeah.
I do. This is what a millipora tabling coral is, or an Acropora tenaeus, or anything. We got all these different variations. They grow up differently on a different reef with a different color because of different parameters. It's still the same coral though.
He knows his stuff.
And that's a great thing, because you have people like Chris that's been in this hobby for, you said from you were 9 years old, so that's like 110 years you've been doing this.
Yeah,
No,
pretty much.
And no, I'm messing, Chris. But then also you have like Aziz that has been doing this for how long? You been into reefing now, Aziz?
11 months.
11 months. 11 months. So, look at the contrast of information that, someone with the expertise of Chris can share with someone like Aziz. And that's one of the things we want to bring to the table, to where we can make those connections and share those information that we're somewhere in the middle there, but we can make those connections and bond people like, hey, you can go over there. They got this. You can try this. Change this pump out. Maybe this will work better for you, or talk to this person because they're better in that field, or they're working in that area. They can tell you. So that's the thing. No one knows everything, and a lot of time we have reefers and the people that think that they know everything in any hobby at all. I don't think it's just reefing, but anyone that think they knows everything is always doomed for failure. It's a learning process, and it doesn't matter how long. I'm sure Chris is still learning things till this day. You're still learning things
Every day,
right?
every day.
So,
you got Jay. He knows all the new stuff. He knows all the names, everything that sells. He knows all the new, all the cool stuff.
Yes.
And I look at him at every day in awe.
Yeah,
see,
absolutely.
So you're still learning, and that's the thing, just being able to admit that, hey, you know what, I need to work on this, or maybe I can outsource some information, or So that's one of those things that really helps a lot in the hobby. So we'll be seeing the progression, and in Aziz and many of our fellow reefers, as we progress, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing Aziz as a little jewel of a tank that he has going on there. So you can tell us about that later on. There we go, a little snip of that. But Chris, dude, we Chris has been like a blessing going over, working over at Max Reef there. You see a lot of change in energy. A lot of change in energy. We're very transparent. We're transparent people. We call things like it is. We're not liars. I say how I feel. Rox is no different. Even more than that.
I appreciate that.
So that's what we do. So Chris, we're not trying to butter you up. We're telling you straight out. You're doing a real good job over there. Yeah, you're doing a real good job over there. So keep that up.
Well, what we got to do? We got to do flashcards.
Flashcards.
Flashcards, strawberry shortcake, super gold Monte Acropora. I'm trying to print all these things out in really nice glossy things so I can show my guys.
With you, you have the best person there with you. Jay knows. He can look at a piece of coral and he told you right away, oh, this is that and that is this, and I'm like, how the hell does he know the names of these things? You know what I mean? Like half of them look alike.
Yeah,
I know, it drives you crazy.
That is true.
But it's again the knowledge. That we all have a little bit, and if we're all sharing that little bit, we all can be full of knowledge. So that's the way we. That's why we got this whole thing going. And we're definitely
very true.
We met this amazing couple. Even today, we had stopped by Max Reef just because that's what we do on the weekends. We always visit various reef shops and today we had stopped by and we met this amazing couple there. And she was just starting out. They were starting out because it's a couple. So and they had just started out their system. Was it 150 gallon routes? And
Yep.
Yep.
they were like trying to. It's really cool because you could
What's her
tell.
name? Shout her out because she's amazing. Because you don't see
Oh,
too
that's
many.
Diane and
Diane.
oh shit! I always forget the last name. It's like
His name is Matt.
Mahat.
'Cause
Matt.
they were,
No,
Matt.
I think they were on, but yeah,
no,
they're
no.
a hard name.
God,
He said everyone calls him Matt since he was a kid because it's a very difficult
exactly.
name.
It's a really
But
hard name.
yeah, but you do
I
not.
want to say Hamad, but it's not.
I was here reciting this guy's name earlier because I didn't want to forget it. So, dude, I'm so sorry.
Bro, it's the
But
weirdest name. I've
Yes,
cool name.
but
never
they were
heard it
very
before.
Really funny. But
you don't see a lot of women in.
Oh, Maher.
There
Maher.
you go.
Yep.
Mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to you too. Shout out to them. They were there and we were having this amazing conversation, and they were picking our brains a little bit. We were all too happy to share information, of course, about slowing down, not going too fast, and being careful about making mistakes.
Sorry, guys. Letting the dog out while we're talking.
Yeah. Do your thing, man.
Yeah. So we're just trying to be. You're trying to call it out. So we were trying to just be
I got my
helpful
dog.
and
She's got to go out.
Okay. Trying to share a little bit of knowledge about just being careful what you put in your tank, the equipment, making sure that you have the right equipment firsthand before you start packing it with things. And she was on it. She's been doing her research, man. When she was naming the things she had, the equipment she had, we're like, whoa, how long have you been doing this? So preparation is very, very important. And that was really, really amazing to see that someone going into the hobby was so prepared and did so much research. So that was really, really good.
I dumb behind just kind of jumped in and everything died and lost a lot of money and then jumped in again and everything died again. And they do say that's the best way to learn though, right? Failure is the best way to learn. So I failed a lot, spend a lot, and that's how I learned, My wife loves it.
No, Dane has definitely done a lot of research.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah,
we definitely can tell. And she did a lot. So Aziz, what's your plans? What's your next move? We've all been there where we have the 10 gallon, 20 gallon, 15 gallon, and then in this hobby, you always want to move up for some weird, crazy reason. We always want to move up. I don't know why. Even though we know it's a lot more money, it's a lot more time for some. Like, look behind me. This right now is a 150. Okay, I went from a 50 to a 75 to this monster of a tank behind me, which is 150 gallon, and it's a headache in itself. But again, I love it. It's a lifestyle. So, what's your next move, Aziz?
Yeah, so
Let's
I've been doing this for
Let's see where you are. Where are you at now?
I'm at a 7.5 tank.
Okay.
All right. I like it.
How long has it been running?
It's been running for 11 months. So it's looking a little bit rough with the algae in the back, but I think it's doing pretty good so far.
Okay.
I like it.
And I plan on moving up?
Yeah, I actually have a 20 gallon I'm setting up right now with I just got the sand put in, and I'm just waiting for the water to clear up before I start adding all the other stuff. And I'm gonna reuse some of the equipment, so I'm gonna see how I'm gonna do that first. So yeah, my next move is a 20 gallon.
Okay.
Tall.
Guy showing off with his tank behind. You see this guy? What size tank is that? What size tank is that?
What size is yours?
Chris,
What's that?
What size is your tank?
Show off.
No, I got the dog peed right now, taking a crap.
See, we don't want to hear about that. All right, tell us about
All
it.
right. So that's 265.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Is it mixed?
So
Mixed reef?
yeah, mixed reef. I got to put lenses on this damn camera. 265 lifetime aquarium. It's been up since March of last year.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go get a lens and I'll show that shit in a minute.
That's all right. You can
So-
tell us a little bit about it.
The hardest part of
Um,
maintaining that tank. What would you say the hardest part of maintaining it?
Right now the hardest part is having our RO water ready. I got a 100-gallon horizontal vat right now that just sprang a freaking leak.
Oh,
Here, we'll go down. We'll go into the back room here.
Oh,
So-
funny.
You see where the black spot is right now?
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, it sprang a leak like a week ago, and I just pumped about 150 gallons into the basement.
I know your wife is pissed.
Oh, she was pissed as hell.
I
But
I can't.
this is the whole room, just so you guys get an idea. I know you saw pictures at one point, but I got all the controllers in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Got a
nice
rocket
setup.
ship there.
Yep. So we got C-shape pumps, right and left returns, the protein skimmer return, chiller, all that stuff.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That chiller. Do you see the price difference I can get on your light bill with that
On your
chiller
light
in the
bill.
summertime?
Not really, because it doesn't come on too much.
Okay.
I'm down in the basement, so everything's pretty.
Or you just don't look at it. Which is it?
What's
The
that?
Or you just
The
don't
light-
look at it. What?
Yo, I keep the door locked, bro. But I mean, I upgraded everything. That's like a 30-year-old skimmer right here,
Okay.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
and I upgraded it with C-Chays, so DC pumps. Price went down. So
All right. So,
All
Chris, you work in a store, right? You're in the store.
Yeah.
Someone walks in and says to you, I want to start a tank. What do you tell them? What's that one thing you say to them?
one thing I say to them,
Yeah.
you can't go with the bargain basement like Fluval pumps or the garbage pumps. You get what you pay for, right?
Facts. I tell people that all the time. And that's why
Yeah.
all my stuff I use, I mean, things are always going to break, especially because they're electronic. But, I mean, it's better to just buy good stuff the first time and get it over with. You're spending...
Bro, if you're gonna lose $20,000 worth of coral, what's a $200 pump, right?
Exactly my
That's
point.
true. That's
Exactly.
true. That's true.
So back of my tank looks like crap. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
But-
It doesn't look like crap.
It looks
I
good.
bet it actually looks pretty good. Because again, you don't have any lens on, so if any reefers, for any reefer, we know what it looks like when you're looking through the blue light. So question for you, Chris. What is your favorite piece in that tank? What's your favorite?
Oh Jesus! I'm looking for my lenses right now because I can't find them right now.
That's all right.
I think they're at the shop.
What's your favorite
But
piece in the tank?
I think right now my favorite piece is probably the Efflo. The
yeah?
Efflorescence Acro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up to it right now.
That's a 1935 he just gave you guys. That's probably like a Rainbow Millie or something. But he's showing his age tonight.
It's
I don't know why.
right there. It's right there in the middle. You want to bust my chops? Oh, Efflorescence Acropora. So everybody's calling it E-Flow now. What else is a good one? We got the really nice Fabia down here in the middle, and I got a lot of cyano going right now. I don't know what's going on, but
You got to spend more money. That's
no, I got to
spend
spend more time on the tank and less time at the shop.
Well,
I think Norma's
that
watching
would
too, so I think
that would
heard you.
definitely do it.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, Norma was on just a minute ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
man.
anyone
So
doesn't know, Norma,
That's between you and
the
Norm.
owner of Max Reef.
Oh
Chris's-
man, I'm gonna get a phone call in like 20 minutes. I'm sure.
Less hours, okay. Stay home tomorrow. That's what he's gonna tell you.
Well, it's only Monday. It'll be slow, so I won't hear too much crap.
Okay, good. We're
Oh,
glad.
man.
We're glad you won't hear too much. Yeah, but I mean, this is what we want to do. We want to get, different people in on the hobby. It's an amazing hobby. Um, Honestly, sometimes, when I just feel overwhelmed too much, I literally just come down here and I can sit here all day and just look into the tank. I mean,
Yeah.
people might find it crazy, but everybody has their thing where, some people like to go shopping. Like my wife. My wife loves to shop. She'll be online and just shop all day. This is
Shout
my
outs to
thing.
Nat. Shout outs to Nat up here logged in.
Listening. Yep. My wife loves to shop. That's her thing. But yeah, this is my thing. I just sit here, listen to music and look in the tank, and it's super, super relaxing. You don't need, a whole lot of things in there. You need, a few things in it. Just, you're always going to want more though. That's one of the things I found in this hobby. You always want more. I don't know why,
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
go, you have 90 gallon, you want to, like I spoke to a guy today, he in the store, he had a 300 gallon and he said he wants to go
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 300? He's like, yeah, but I don't know if my floor hold it. I'm like, well, if you don't know if the floor hold it, I would suggest you not go bigger than the 300. Just stay where you are, But this guy's literally ready to put his house on the line just to go for a big tank, which is
Well, that's
kind of
what
crazy.
I put
That's the
everything
part
in
of
the
the hobby.
basement.
You know what I mean? Like,
Reinforce
you
the
always
floor.
want. Yeah, you always want bigger. You always want more. You always want the hot ticket item. It just goes with it. And again, that just reminds you that you have to enjoy the ride. You have to enjoy it, because if you lose that, it's like, man, I spent $300, $400, $1,000, or even more for some of these corals or fish. You want to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So that's one of the
And
things that we always tell people: enjoy it.
we got that L. We all took that L. Well, I've
Oh
taken a
yeah.
whole bunch of L's in this tank. You don't even in this. This thing has sometimes it feels like a money pit, but I love it and I enjoy it. So like I have I'm trying to go higher end corals. And you have pieces that's $500, $600, $700, $800, and
Yeah.
I don't always pay that, but I mean, I get deals. I get good deals. So I know a
Hey,
lot of people. So if anybody wants deals out there, let me know. I'll get you some deals on corals.
Right.
hey, if I ever disclose
Shout,
what
shout,
everything cost me, I'd be divorced right now.
shout out to Andres. He says, no matter how full your tank is, there's always space for more. And that's really how you think as a reefer. It's like, man, my tank is packed. And then the minute you see something else, you're like, yeah, I think I could find space for it. It's never like I can't buy it because I don't have space. It's always like I'll find space for it. I just have to rearrange things.
Yeah.
But because we have a passion for it, you enjoy it. And notice most people put it in places that they can actually see it, and maybe a zen area, a living room, or a man cave, or somewhere next to the living room, somewhere you can relax and sit and enjoy it. So that's really what the hobby is geared for. So I want people to really see that it's not just, again, just for making money or things like that. It's
Oh,
for
that's the
enjoyment.
part I like about it. Even though it takes my money, so read that comment, Shelton. Somebody, but even though it takes your money, you can still make money on it. Like I literally was here today. I posted two things, two little mushrooms. A guy literally took the train from Manhattan, met me in Bridgeport, and bought both of them. And I was home. It's a Sunday. I'm not working, and I made money to put back something in there. And I actually spent some of it. Chris took it over at Normal Aquatics. He took. It wasn't much he took, but he did take something. And I told myself, I'm not.
Little bit,
Huh?
a little bit, not too much.
No, it was a little bit. Compared
Yeah.
to other things, it was a little bit. But the plan was to get that money and keep that money.
All right.
Well,
That's true.
Oh, look at that.
so hey,
What
I just got to show you something. I got a little bit of extra room.
Oh, Jesus. So, okay. Very nice. A little bit of extra room. That's a lot of room.
That
Where did?
That
Oh boy.
that's
man. Real
That's the
quick, while
old
you look
tank.
at that, I see Megan Wright, big up. Thank you for joining us. Mansu Mansa logged in.
Oh,
My baby logged in. She
what you
says I
guys
can have the
doing on
ocean. Thank you, babe.
quarantine?
Thank you, babe.
So
What?
there was a
Oh,
question.
she was asking what
What's
our
her
opinion
opinion on
was on
quarantine?
quarantine.
What?
Quarantine and
What's?
coral.
I want let you answer that. Yeah,
Yeah,
answer that for us,
what's
Chris.
your
Yeah, I
What's your?
mean, quarantine. I mean, like you guys know, all like we do dips.
correct?
So
Mhm.
the quarantine process is really just getting the getting the corals into a quarantine, maybe a tank. I don't like to do more than a week, because those corals have already been stressed out.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So if we can
Right.
if
Aziz,
we can dip them in something like Revive or Coral RX or something like that, you get all the bugs off them. You get all the red bugs, which Tropic Marin apparently has some really good stuff going on right now that they claim is red bug friendly. Like it gets rid of the red bugs. They can't say it on the website, but most of their customers are saying, "Hey, the red bugs come off." So
Aziz,
I don't know.
do you quarantine corals?
If
Shelton, do
you
you quarantine
consider
corals?
With
hour of
all
quarantine, that's all
honesty,
I do.
with
Hold on. What did you say?
all
What
honesty,
did you
no.
say, Aziz?
I I dip my corals in the coral dip for like 15 minutes. I leave it in some tank water for an hour and then just go straight into the tank.
Okay, yeah, that'll
Shelton, what do
work.
Personally, no. I do not quarantine corals. And I've had some very unique experiences with corals over the many years. I do dip. I do try to clean the bases as much and take a lot of precautions, as many precautions as I can. But quarantining, I do not have a setup just for quarantining my corals. No, not saying it's a bad thing to do. I think it's an amazing thing to do. It's a great thing to do if you can. But if in my case, I don't. I'm being honest. I don't really quarantine my corals.
you say? Okay. So for me, I do not quarantine coral. I do not quarantine fish. I do not. And I mean, I dip and not all the time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't dip all the time because sometimes I order things online and when it comes in it looks stressed already. I don't want to put it through more stress, dipping it, taking it out, putting it in the tank. So I do not dip all the time, depending on what it is. But I do take precaution as far as I have a lot of fish that are workers. Like I have chorus rats that pick stuff. I
Yep.
have blind rats, even though it's an ass, it picks stuff. You have tangs that'll eat the algae. You have all those fish. So I do not believe in quarantining. A lot of people swear by it. I've been doing this for a long time, and as you can see, my tank, which I have a lot of expensive stuff in here, and I take the chance of not. But so for I do use Interceptor. I don't know if anyone knows this, but Interceptor does kill red bugs,
Red bugs.
get rid of them.
Yes.
Right.
I do Interceptor every once in a while, and even though I don't see red bugs, I don't want to see them, so I just do it just to do it. And also, I do flatworm exit every once in a while. Like every couple of months, I don't see any flatworms, but I do it anyway just to be
Just
on
as
the
a
safe side
precaution.
as
I
a precaution because
agree
I
with
don't want
taking.
to something that I sell you something and then you get flatworms or you get red bugs. So I just do it just to do it, even though I don't see it. And it doesn't
So
bother my corals. Like I did it a month ago, and all my stuff still looks amazing. And so I did flatworm exit for 3 weeks in a row. I went on vacation, gave the tank a break, and then I did interceptor 3 weeks in a row.
So you
And
do flatworm exit on a regular basis.
like maybe once every 6 months or
Once in
so,
a while.
just,
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
just to do
and
it.
the thing
I
is,
No, go ahead.
precautions taking precautions is always necessary in reefing, because again, you don't know what are on these corals. Sometimes you can have a
Yeah.
coral that looks perfectly fine, and you put it in your tank, and then that's when maybe eggs that are sitting in cracks gets hatched, and maybe parasites that are in there. Maybe they like the conditions in your tank versus another. Maybe they're parasites there, but maybe there are certain tank have things that have things that live inside of the tank, like fish or shrimp that were in the previous system that were keeping them at bay, but they're not in your system. So now they have the potential of just, you know, expanding and growing and multiplying. So you never know. No two tanks are the same. So it's best to take precautions. Knowing where you're getting your frags from is very, very important.
Yep.
Yeah.
For example, if I were to get something from Rox's system, I'm being 100, like 90 to 99% of the time, I'm not dipping that. You know what I mean? Because I know his system. Like, I'm literally at his house. I know his system. I know what's going on. And I trust him that if there's something going on that he's knowledgeable of, he's going to tell me. That does not mean that if I get the tank, you know, get a frag and I see something at the bottom, I'm not going to like examine it or give it a quick brush, but I'm not going to go crazy hard with that frag.
Yeah.
Whereas if I, you know, order something, you know, if we get something from, you know, not, you
What?
know, from a swap, you know, like, you know, frag swap
From
or something,
somewhere
or,
else.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere else. I'm going to be more critical in the way I, you know, or if I get something from Chris, no, I'm joking. But I'm messing.
Oh,
Right?
man.
But seriously though, like if I get something, you know, from the store anywhere, you know, nothing against the guys. It's just that sometimes people trade things in. They get them, you know, they order them from, you know, from overseas and they show up, you know, and they do their level of care, but you know, it doesn't hurt to do your own as well. So knowing where you're getting your frags from is very, very important. And when you get it, you know, try to do the best you can, you know, cutting the bases off, brushing it and things. But some cores is
Yep.
hard to dip though, you know, we're
Yeah.
you know, quarantine because again, they're very fragile, you know, so you have to be really, really careful.
I mean,
Well,
there's people who swear by quarantine fish, and I listen. I don't even have the time to run these tanks now to go put another one together just to put the fish in for a few months. You know what I run? I run a UV sterilizer that kills the ink. I know there's plenty of other things out there, but I do not have the time nor patience to run another system just to quarantine a fish. It's not happening
that's all
for
right.
me.
I
buy
run
fish.
I do the same thing. I run a 20-gallon tank off the main system. I do water changes into that, but I also run a 75-watt UV under the tank.
So a lot of people don't know this, but if you run your UV at a slow speed, it'll actually kill it. It doesn't kill them. It sterilizes them so they can't reproduce. A lot
Right.
of people
But
do that.
if you
run it
if you
fast,
don't
huh?
if you don't have 100% pass through, then it don't mean nothing.
True. That is absolutely true.
So
I mean,
you're only killing half the shit out of your tank.
yeah.
Sorry,
And
Don't
mean
that's
to
true.
curse. My bad.
and
I don't think
that's the
that's a
thing
curse word.
too.
Should it?
No,
No.
don't worry about it. But that's another thing too, where sometimes people get a very expensive system and they buy all the technology that's out there and they put it together and they say, well, none of my stuff's supposed to die because I have all the newest things out there. I have the best equipment, you know. So all my things are supposed to be growing. They're supposed to be doing great, and they're not having the success that some people are having with, you know, way less expensive equipment, things that are not as new on the market as others. You know, what is your take on that? What do you think, you know, that's attributed to?
Oh, on using new tech and everything?
Yeah, thinking that the latest and greatest is
Yeah,
going to
and
be
in comparison,
forever.
Man, you could do a 20-gallon high with a wet dry system and a UV sterilizer and still have the same results that you have today.
Yeah.
Just
Listen,
keeping up on it. That's all.
I have three $900 lights on my tank right now, and things still die. $900
Yeah.
one of those, and things still die. Okay.
yeah.
So I have a thing over there that costs God knows how much, a trident that's supposed to test my water by itself, and things still die. So there's nothing hobby, nothing safe.
Yeah,
The
but
thing is, you can't be
I don't.
lazy with hobby. You know, you can't be lazy. You have to be willing to do the work. And again, it's an
So
investment. You're investing not just finances, but also time. You have to put time in. You
Yep.
understand? You can't just rely on one system. You always have to have, you know, contingencies, and also, you know, like backups. You have to go in and test things on your own, do hand tests. You know, a lot of stores do tests, so bring it into the store, let them test it. I know Max Reef do tests. Bring your water in, let Max
Always.
Reef, you know, let the guys do tests on there. Even if your system, even if your Apex or whatever system you're using tells you that everything is doing well, go ahead and get a second opinion. And you know, like individuals like myself, the other day, my tank, my salt level was high. Imagine salt. 20 something years of reefing, and my salt level was high. You understand? Because we're testing for the alk, we're testing calcium, we're testing magnesium, you know, and we're testing all these other things, and potassium and iodine, and we're testing all these crazy things. But yet we forget the simple things, as just making sure that your salinity, the temperature, make your heaters are working, making sure that you're changing your filter media and things like that. You know,
Yep.
sometimes we overlook the simple things in the reefing. So husbandry is very, very important, and you know, I want to stress that a lot for all, you know, not just the newer people, but the older hobbyists, like myself. You know, we have to keep up with this, or you're going to lose out. You're going to have some things not doing so well.
So
I'm testing all my stuff as we're talking.
so Megan, I don't think that so the corals don't bring ink or velvet in your tank. Am I right or wrong? Corals don't do, because she wrote on here, thanks for the info. Just won some corals on an online auction and ordered some bumblebee snails. I'm so nervous about introducing ink velvet to her system.
Not with coral.
Yeah, corals, you don't have to worry about that. Corals is more like flatworms and other little
red bugs and things like that. Nudies,
and stuff like
nudibranchs
so you don't have to,
and things like things of that sort.
the fish is
And
where
not
you
saying
get
that
the velvet.
not saying it's not possible, because the shells of some of these snails and crabs, they can house different eggs, and things do lay on them. So it doesn't hurt to you know, to give them a once over, a look at them really good. Some people do quarantine them as well, just like other fish. So it is important to take precautions doing so.
That was a thing.
I don't see velvet or egg coming through on from corals to fish ever.
Megan, you're good with your
You
congratulations.
You should be good.
What did you win? Yeah, I don't quarantine, and I you know, and it's like
I don't.
you put so much into it, and you should quarantine fish. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't. I just don't have the time or patience. Like, I want to see him in my tank right away when I buy a new fish. Like, you know, I want to get that Achilles, and the Achilles is like a $300 fish.
Oh,
and
stop with the Achilles.
I just want to clarify though before we move. I just want to clarify though before we move on though that I don't. We're not against it. Like, we're totally not against quarantining at all. It's just that our lifestyle, or we don't do it. But if it were, if my environment, where I live, I had more space, if I had more time, and I had resources to do so, sure. But I just don't, because I know where I get most of my fish from. And my corals, I'm very picky with where I get things from, and I really do look at them when I go to the store and we're purchasing fish. We do look at them really good, see how they're behaving, see if they're eating. Yeah, look if there's spots on them, see if they're eating. All those things. Sometimes going back, seeing if the fish is there. Sometimes putting them on hold. Hey, can you hold that for a week for me? How long has it been here? Oh, it just came in. All right, maybe. So you have to be really careful when you're purchasing these. You have to take precaution. So it's the same thing with corals as well. Making sure that you're overlooking, you're looking them over, looking at the bases, things like that. Ask them, where did it come from? Did someone drop this in? Did you purchase? All of those things. So we're not against quarantining. I just want to say that, because I know some people are like, what? What are you telling people? No, we're not saying, we're not telling you not to quarantine at all. All right, we're just saying that some people do and some people don't. Right, like Chris has a quarantine setup, right, and it works well for you, right, Chris?
Yeah, yep. No, I throw fish in here, but also keep in mind I have a shop. I use the shop as my quarantine. So
Exactly.
I can see them every day. I can look at them. I can feed them. I can dose them whenever I want. But what I was looking at is Megan was saying that she's got rainbow acans and Florida Recordias in a green, I'm guessing
One.
Alveopora, right?
Yeah,
So
that's the stuff.
quarantine, yeah. So quarantine, I would dip them and put them in. I wouldn't waste my time putting them in a quarantine tank because it's another
No.
one step of stress for them.
Yep.
Dip them, get them in.
True.
There you go.
So
I like that answer. Dip them, get them in. Dip them for a little bit. Like I literally have a wash bucket for my corals though. It's literally like a cup in another cup.
Oh.
With in the one that's inside, I fill it with water and I shake them like it's a washing machine. Spin them, shake them, and then
I'm trying to find my whole quarantine system for my corals. I can't seem to find it. It doesn't actually exist.
Megan nervous. You're gonna tell her about your quarantine. Well, Chris does it.
No, for my corals, I use a Tupperware container with some dip. That's all I do.
Yeah, that's all you need, Megan. Get some dip and if you see anything crazy, kind of push them and put it in.
Actually,
and also, I don't know what
my whole quarantine system right now has my Micron socks in it.
Look at
That's my quarantine.
That's your setup.
Yeah, I know, real high speed, right?
Also
Listen,
remember, as a precaution though, Megan, and for everyone else, guys, get working fish. Get things like crabs and shrimps and things that tanks that are going to be picking at things, some wrasses. Some people do like 6 lines or or Springer damsels or things like that. They don't
Melanoris wrasse.
Melanoris, there we go. They don't always solve every issue, but it's a precaution, and it doesn't hurt to take precautions.
Exactly.
So
Nope.
I like that. That's a great note to leave it on. Doesn't hurt to take precautions. I think that was great. I mean, so this is something we're gonna do every Sunday with somebody new. We tried with Hani, but it didn't. We had some technical difficulties. But Chris was there. Thank you, Chris.
Hey,
thank you.
Drop by anytime.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
The store.
What's that?
The store.
Share
about
this info.
Contact.
You're breaking up. I'm sorry.
Share the store information with our audience for us.
Oh, so I mean, you guys have been great. You've been a huge support for the store. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing, giving me all the input that you got.
Thank you.
Max Reef Aquatics down in Bridgeport, Connecticut. You guys are, helping me out a lot. I appreciate it. I'm doing a lot of work to make the store a lot better than it used to be, kind of build it up, and you guys are giving me a lot of good input and got a lot of good advice, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you because it took a while. Shelton actually stopped going to the store. On his own. We won't go into that, but because of Chris and stuff, and we feel a lot more comfortable coming in, and you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work over there, man.
Keep it up.
It's all about the customer service. It's all about keeping the hobby alive.
There you go. All right, Chris. We'll see you at the store. Guys,
take care,
Chris. All right, guys. Have a great night. All right.
You too.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
All right. Take care.
All right, guys. So, that was Chris from Normal Aquatics, Max Reef, whichever store you know it by. Great store. They have great stuff. They can order anything you want. But this is the first one that we did, and we did have some technical difficulties. We were really sorry we didn't get Hani on, but he will be on. I will not be in front of my tank. I'm going to Arizona, so if anybody knows any really good stores in Arizona, just shoot them to me. So that way, I can stop by, take some pictures, videos, whatever. And we're definitely going to do a live with Hani on next week. Now, I got to sit down with Hani and tell him what to press, what buttons to press to get on. Because I did the same thing with Shelton, Aziz, Chris, and I don't know. But, I think this was perfect. What do you think?
I think it was good.
Aziz? Aziz doesn't talk much, guys. So Aziz is pretty much, Aziz is going to be the one who's mostly behind the camera. So we're going to try to get to a lot of these shows and interact with. Hani is calling me right now. I'll come back in a few. Um, where did Shelton go? Shelton just disappeared. Thought we were done, bro. We're not done. Where did you go? So yeah, Aziz, we're gonna be at a lot of the shows, a lot of the events. We just did Frag Farmers. Frag Farmers was amazing. I got a few great finds there. I think they're on a rack over there somewhere. You know, spent more money than I needed to spend there. I think we all did, by the way. We all spent more than we needed. But Aziz is gonna be. We're gonna be at the shows. Aziz is gonna be the front man. We got to get him, you know, a little bit more in because he's usually behind the camera. That's where Aziz is, and he loves that part of it. But we're trying to put him on the forefront. We all know Shelton already. Shelton is like a go-getter. You know, he doesn't stop. So, and then me, I have a love for the hobby, as you guys can tell behind me. I just love the hobby and everything in it. So, you know, we're gonna just try to get people more knowledgeable in the hobby, and you know, build a community where, you know, we all can learn from each other. You just like Megan had her questions about dipping. You can ask anything you want. You know, you can even post a question on the group, and we will answer them in the upcoming week. You know, so definitely do not be afraid. It's Hidden Gems Aquatics, right? Jump in. If you see us anywhere, just let us know. You know, we are always out and about everywhere. Shelton and we're dragging Aziz now. We're literally like from one end to the other end, from Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Mass. 2 weeks from now, we will have the man himself. We're gonna have John Swanson. John Swanson is the man himself that does the biggest event, biggest one day event in the country. You know, there is Reefer Palooza. Those are 2-day events, and those are bigger, but he does the biggest one-day event. We're going to have him on the show. So if you guys have any questions for him, feel free, just shoot them. Let us know what you want us to ask him. You know, that way we can get it out there to him. Any questions that you guys, I know a lot of people want to be in Frag Farmers, and it's a long line. Maybe you want to know how long of a line it is to get in there to get your stuff sold, you know, because I'm telling you, it's a crazy hobby, but it's amazing at the same time. It's an expensive hobby, but it's amazing at the same time, you know. And literally, Shelton and I saw the lady today, and she was like gun ho, and her husband is just there. Like, that just hit me, because you don't see a lot of women doing the reefing hobby, but you know, she just fell in love with it, and she's like running for it, you know. And she did her research and everything, and that's one of the things. You know, everybody, they'll come to my house and they'll see my tank, and they're like, "Oh my God, I want a tank too." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, "And who the hell is gonna take care of that tank?" You know, so you do not. Rox has the fire in the tank. Now I do have some nice stuff in the tank, you know, but they're pricey too. We can't let I don't know if my wife is still on, but we can't let her know that. But, you know, so I can't let him in. He didn't pop back up. Shauna, I don't see him. He has to come in and view, and then I can let him back in, because I don't know where the hell he went in the first place. Yeah, I was trying to get Shelton back in, guys, but I don't know. He's still on the request. Yeah, he's still on the invite, so I can't invite him again. You know, that's one of the problems with Facebook Live. But we're definitely going to be on next week, and then 2 weeks from now, we're going to have John Swanson. We're definitely going to have Scott from OSA. We're definitely going to have Reef Assist, you know, and we're going to just bring a lot of people so everybody can get that knowledge that they need to have an amazing tank like this. You know, it did cost me a lot of money, but I'm going to be honest with you, it was worth you know, every bit of the money that I spent. You know, but yeah. So, any final words, Aziz?
Yeah, don't buy cheap equipment. You know, just if you have to take a little bit more time to get into the hobby, I would invest and save your money a little bit before you actually start the hobby, because I thought I was the one person that was going to be different from everybody else. That the cheap equipment was going to work for me, it didn't end up working for me, and I just feel like, just spend a little bit more time, save a little bit more money if you have to, and buy the things that everyone knows work.
And don't go crazy, because I mean, like, I went crazy because I'm going to be honest with you guys, which we will get in another episode, where I went crazy on my equipment. I think I went a little overboard, because there is stuff out there that does the same, does the same thing. But I went overboard, like literally my lights, just the 3 lights alone on this tank. I got them when they first came out, and they're $900 lights. So you don't need $900 lights to get your tank going, But I'm an Apex person. I love Apex, which again we will get into that on another episode, like hydros, Apex, all that stuff, and that's just what it is. But for now, thank you everybody for joining in. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. We will definitely have Hani on next week. So next Sunday, 8 p.m., Hani will be live, and we're going to get him on here because he was supposed to be on here tonight. We didn't get him. We got Chris. Thank you, Chris, for filling in. Shelton, we need Hani to get onto the Apex. Yeah, we do. And yeah, I got rid of that other tank already. I have a little frag tank now, and then I'm trying to get another frag tank to Steven. Yeah, but Hani's gonna be on here next week. We'll definitely have him. But dude, everybody, thank you very much for joining. I hope you guys learned something tonight about the hobby. And if you do have any questions, do not hesitate to just write them in on the chat, and we'll get answers for you. Even if we don't know, because we do not know everything, we'll get the answer for you. There's somebody out there who knows the answer, because a lot of this is about experience. And I mean, I've had so many things die on me. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You don't want to know how much money I've lost into this hobby, but I've lost a lot. And it was all, like my cousins would say, you pay to learn. You want to learn how to play poker? Pay to learn. So I learned this by losing. But I like I said, look at this. You can just sit here, relax, and look at that monster of a clown that I have in there. All right, but thank you everyone for coming in, checking us out, and we will definitely see you guys next Sunday, 8 p.m. Shelton, Aziz, Rox, and Hani will be on. All right, we're definitely gonna get Hani on because we need to ask him questions about frag farmers. All right, and like Aziz says, do not buy cheap equipment. That's one of the things I learned. My whole tank died because I bought some cheap equipment. Because I'm like, it's a light, it's a pump. I bought a cheap pump. It died on me a month later, and all my fish died. So invest in reliable equipment, because I'm not gonna say expensive, and I'm not gonna say cheap. Invest in reliable equipment, and we'll leave on that note. All right. Aziz, have a good night, man. We'll catch up. Reliable equipment, people. Bye.